some issues from the past with relationships and money that we've been trying to resolve for the past few weeks, but that for some reason are still lingering and creating some sort of confusion and havoc in our lives. And today we are tuning into our intuition big time about what we should do with these situations, which is really helping us to finally turn some things around here and get going in a much better direction and feel more confident and secure in it. Hi, I'm your astrologer, Brittany, with horoscope.com. Here are 3 things you need to know in order to make today, Sunday, December 7th, 2025, a success. Now, let's go ahead and let's hop right into it. In order to get started, what I want to talk about first is going to be here where Mars is in Sagittarius, making a square to Saturn in Pisces, number 1. Now, this to me is a little bit of a difficult alignment because it is a square, which is a hard aspect with both Mars and Saturn involved, which are typically considered malefic planets by the ancient astrologers. What is the challenge here? Well, let's start with Mars. Mars is a planet of action, desire, and drive. It's in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a lot about new things being correlated to Jupiter, also about like good things, exciting things, passionate things, being a fire sign that really light us up, that it wants to do, right? Because we want to do, and we want to do more of it because Sagittarius is a very big planet, which is correlated to Jupiter, which is a very big planet. But it's making a hard aspect to Saturn. Saturn's about stuckness. It can be about restriction in some sort of way. And in this case, Mars on that action we want to take to do new, fun, exciting things. What is the causing the restriction? Well, Saturn's in Pisces. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac about the past. Things from the past that haven't fully been resolved, which I think include relationships and money in particular, but also could be in our emotions within our own internal emotional state as well, with it being in Pisces, a water sign. That is hard. That's what's slowing us down, right? Making us feel stuck and making us unable to kind of move forward in the way that we might like, which can create agitation, sometimes anger. Mars can create anger. That can also be a bit hard here. Not only that, but another thought that I'll give you is that Saturn can also be like the planet of reality, like reality setting in. This is also reality setting in, if it hasn't already, that we really need to resolve these things from the past, with it being in Pisces and trying to leave Pisces, not to come back for a while, that reality is setting in that we really need to resolve these things and that we'll never be able to do these other things we want to do in life that are fun and exciting if we don't finish this old stuff first. And that now is the time, if it wasn't already the time, now is the time to do it and to make those decisions about it. Saturn can also be decision oriented as well, especially with it recently going direct in the past week or so. So that's the first thing that I want to say today, is that we want to be having fun, doing new things that we're more passionate and excited and easy about and all of that, but we're not able to do that yet. Even though we want to, we're not able to do that yet because there's still some things from the past with relationships and money and internally within ourselves and our own emotions that have not fully been resolved, completely, in the way that it is that they need, preventing us from moving forward, doing other things we want to do because they're in the way. Not only that, but we're beginning to feel really stuck and frustrated and upset about that, and to realize that we have to resolve these things from the past first in order to move forward, and that now is the time. We have to make some hard decisions in order to do that if we haven't already. That then leads me on the second thing I want to talk about today, which is going to be where Neptune is. Neptune is stationing direct in the sign of Pisces, right about here. Now, it's not direct yet. It'll go direct on Wednesday, December 10th. However, it is stationing direct today, and it's at the last degree of Pisces while it's doing it, number 2. Now, this to me is a little bit of a challenging, well, I think I'm going to say it's both ways. It's going to be a little challenging, but positive. Challenging at first because it's the last degree and it's still retrograde, but positive because I believe that when a planet stations change directions, it can bring some sort of insight, because that is when the planet appears to be moving very slowly in the sky, and it's turning direct, eventually to leave Pisces for a very, very long time. So I'm going to give a little bit of both. The negative first, Neptune can bring confusion, especially about the past, being in Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, what to do in order to overcome that. If not confusion, it can bring up a lot of sad emotions about it because Pisces is a water sign. It can bring up a lot of sad emotions or nostalgic emotions about the past and what we're leaving behind or what needs to happen. Can bring up just a lot of feelings that can be very, very hard to wrangle, maybe even some exhaustion. Sometimes Neptune can do that as well. Like, I'm just so tired of dealing with some of these things as well that's going on. Hey, but even though that's the case, remember, I think there's something good about it. It can also bring, just as quickly, some sort of clarity or some sort of insight, because Neptune can actually be very, very insightful when positive, especially from our intuition and our higher mind about what we need to do to resolve the past. Being in Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, 29 degrees, the last degree of the last sign of the zodiac, to finally resolve these things once and for all. Okay, to finally resolve these things once and for all so that we can move on and do these new things we want to do, especially when Neptune re-enters Aries a little bit after this that's going on, and that we're trying to navigate. I think we're trying to maneuver that threshold between the two today that's going on. And maybe there are moments where we get the clarity and then moments where we forget it, because sometimes Neptune can also do that, especially being in Pisces, a mutable sign. Get clarity, forget it. Get clarity, forget it. That is going on. Not only do I want to note that, I also want to note as well that Pisces and Neptune are not about the logical mind. So this clarity is not coming from the logical mind. It's coming from the intuition and from an emotional, inner spiritual prompting about the whole thing as well. So that's the second thing that I want to note today, is that we want to be doing new, fun, exciting things about our life, but we're realizing we can't, because we're not ready yet, because we haven't finished resolving these old things from the past in the way that's keeping us stuck and making us very frustrated and angry, that we're realizing we have to finally deal with and to finally make sure we've fixed and made the decisions about all the way. And we're beginning to face. But when we begin to face these things from the past, we begin to get very emotional about these things from the past, sad about what we're leaving behind, or nostalgic, maybe even confused about what to do. That can be a little bit hard about our options. But even though that's the case, I think there's a small inner intuitive prompting pointing us in the right direction that we're maybe don't want to listen to, or are trying to come around to, that might be creating some inner tension. That then leads me now to the third and the last thing I want to talk about today, which is going to be where the moon is today. Now, this chart is a few days old for that full moon in Gemini, but since then the moon has moved on, and it is here in Cancer at the very last degree, making a conjunction to Jupiter today, number 3. Now, this I like a lot. I like a lot because we've got the two planets that love Cancer the most in it. We've got the moon in its home sign of Cancer. We've got Jupiter in Cancer, its sign of exaltation. So very, very good thing happening today, which I think we could use. We could use. What is a good thing happening? Well, Cancer is a water sign. It is about our emotions. It's also about our intuition. To me, the water signs are about that. And Jupiter can bring understanding. It can bring wisdom. I think it can also bring some sort of clarity to really help us figure things out and work with our emotions in a better way, and to use our emotions and our intuition more positively instead of see them as a negative thing that's going to hold us back. And so what this means to me is that this can remember my second point, I said we might be feeling sad and nostalgic about the past. Well, this is going to help us put the past in the proper place so that we're not feeling sad about things we don't need to feel sad about, and so where we're more at peace and accepting with what's going on in our lives and more calm and grounded emotionally about the whole thing. Not only that, but this can also help us tune more into our intuition and what our intuition is telling us, and believe more than that, Jupiter, and embrace more of what our intuition is telling us, which is what is the right thing to do. And really, I think our intuition has been telling us what to do for a long time, the past few weeks, and I think our intuition has been right, but I think we haven't come around to it as much as we might like. And I think today's a big moment where we're saying, okay, I realize I got all these feelings about the past, but I'm not going to let those hold me back. I'm going to get my feelings in a better way, and I'm finally going to listen to what my intuition is telling me and start to get ready to act on that, act on that in the ways that we need, which I like a lot. Now, I think there's maybe some more actions we're going to take tomorrow and in the coming days when the moon's in Leo. Leo's a more active, bold sign about risk taking, but we're definitely today finally trusting our intuition, calming our emotions, getting the answers that we need, and preparing to tomorrow take the actions that are needed to get rid of this stuff once and for all from the past so that we're not dealing with it and can move on. Okay, and that's it. Because that synonym, now is going to repeat that one last time. Oh, do I want to give you any advice? I will say I think this is going to happen naturally today. A lovely thing with the moon and Jupiter going on. But if it does not happen naturally and spontaneously and on its own, then I'll give you some advice. And the advice is to consciously choose to listen to your intuition more than your logical mind about what you need to do to finally resolve these things from the past and to really nurture your emotions and get them in a calm and grounded space in order for you to act on your intuition in the way that you might need. Okay, and that's it. Because that's it, I'm now just going to repeat all of that one last time. So let me do that now. What I think is going on today is number one, we want to be doing new, fun, exciting things in our life that we're passionate about, but we're feeling stuck and unable to do that. And that's because we have some things from the past that we haven't fully resolved that are keeping us stuck and holding us back and making us very frustrated. But even though there's some things in the past that are stuck and holding us back and we're frustrated about, we're beginning to realize that we can't ignore and avoid those things, that now we have to face those things head on from the past to fully resolve them if we ever want to move forward, and that we need to make the decisions in order to do so. Okay, and that's a good thing. But even though we're facing these things from the past, I think there's a lot of confusion, maybe even anxiety and sadness and nostalgia and kind of weird emotions about the whole thing that are kind of in the way, making it hard for us to kind of see things clearly. That's going on. Okay, but even though it's hard for us to see things clearly, I think by the end of today or at some point today, that confusion is going to clear up, and those emotions, we're going to start to get a better handle on them, and we're going to start to feel more at peace and more grounded. And not only that, but we're also going to start to trust more into our intuition and what our intuition is telling us to do about these situations, because I think we're just tired of them and we're ready to resolve them. And that then is going to prepare us to actually take action more so tomorrow on what our intuition is telling us to finally finish these old things from the past, so that we're not talking about this much longer, and can finally have finished those things that we need and move on. And I think that's going to happen naturally at some point today. But if it doesn't happen naturally, then that's the advice. The advice is to consciously choose to calm your emotions and nurture your emotions so that they're not all over the place, and to tune into your intuition and listen to your intuition more than your logical mind, because that's really going to give you the answers about what you need to do to resolve anything in your life that still feels like a challenge. So that's your daily planetary forecast for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you tomorrow.